The Toyota 4Runner and the Lexus GX460 get a lot of flack for being, quote, outdated. Today, I'm in the Mojave Desert in a current generation Lexus GX460 to talk about why I think that is not true at all. Ooh, tight fit. So we're going to be going up a high point out here off-road, and we're going to talk about why the current generation Toyota 4Runner and Lexus GX are not outdated at all, despite reviewers claiming that they're outdated. Now, to be fair, it's no knock against anybody reviewing this car. I just want to point out some objective things about these vehicles. Well, I'm going up here. Look at this. I'm in 4-low first gear. So, ooh, this is some rocky stuff. Whoa, look at this. So we're going to jump right in, and I'm going to talk about, this is wicked steep, by the way. The interior camera here is what I see, and the exterior camera is what everybody else, or is considerably higher. That's what I'm trying to babble out here. So I'm in 4-low first gear, and this is a rocky climb. Actually, I'm not in 4-low. Let me get my butt in 4-low. So I'm going to go down into low range here. Now I'm in 4-low first gear. This will give us the torque we need to get uphill. Again, we're going uphill. Look at the interior camera. This is really, really some steep stuff here. And we're going to talk about, woo, that was fun. All right, let's get to it. Why isn't this car outdated? Well, you just saw it, and we're going to touch on that in a minute. And that's the A-TRAC system. But there's a lot of things going on. So I know I'm babbling and haven't said a word yet about why this car isn't outdated because I'm so excited because there's so many things to talk about. I'm going to talk first and foremost about the full-time four-wheel drive system. Look at this rock here to my right. Wow, this is a tight squeeze. People say, well, the car is outdated. And I want to say, you know, it's not really outdated because this is tight. There's a rock to my drivers that I got to be wicked, wicked careful of right here. If I slide over there, I'm going to hit the car. So I got to go dead ahead. Woo! Woo! Wee! Woo! Did I kiss there? Oh, I might even kissed. I'm going to have to get out and check that one. And I promise I'll get to the point, but man, that was steep, and that rock was right there. Hopefully I didn't get a battle scar. I don't see any white paint on the rock, but I can't tell yet. It's the first time for everything. Did we hit? Let's take a look. Did we scratch up our new Lexus GX460? This is a current generation, by the way. Let's take a look here. All right, and we look. I don't see any paint scratches, do you? If you want to know what I was whining about, it's this rock here. Look at that tight squeeze. And it is putting you off camber to the left big time. All right, let's get back in the car and continue on this crazy trail and talk about the subject matter, which is why this car is not outdated and quite the opposite. It's actually kind of ahead of its time. So I mentioned the full-time four-wheel drive. So the first thing about the current generation Lexus GX460 and at least the 4Runner Limited trim is that it comes with a third differential, a Torsen C-type center differential. What that means is you have full-time four-wheel drive. Now, how does this, whoop, kiss something there. How does that tie into outdated or not? Well, most cars don't even have full-time four-wheel drive now. Now you might, if you're not familiar with what the heck's full-time four-wheel drive, boy, this got washed out good. Look at that. Boy, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that. Not being lifted. Man, look at the center there. I'm going to see if I can get up high on this, or we might have an issue. I really got to climb this and not get high centered here, or this trip is going to be short. Oh, we made it. Okay, did I mention this car is fun, and this sort of stuff never gets outdated that I'm doing here, and you certainly can't do this on an outdated car. Believe you me. There's the technology that's making this happen, and the ability of this car is not outdated. You're looking at it. not outdated about what we're doing and how we're doing it, which is kind of what my whole point is here. But excusez-moi, we got to take another look because I can't see anything. Again, the blue sky is what I see, and that's not the road. It's going straight down. So the interior cam, is again what I'm seeing. So let's take a look. And again, I'm just making sure. Now that'll leave a mark. Bang your car on the silliest stuff like that. Okay. So this isn't too bad. I can't see at all out the window, because as you can see, the GX is kind of facing straight up in the air. Some steep stuff though. So where were we? Full-time four-wheel drive? Let's talk about it. Full-time four-wheel drive is what your current generation, careful I don't hit my door here and bang it. Full-time four-wheel drive is what your current generation GX and 4Runner Limited have. Now yes, I know when it comes to the 4Runner, only the Limited has the center differential. But most cars today, aka new cars with quote new technology, don't have full-time four-wheel drive. Why don't they, you ask? It's kind of interesting. And that is, Toyota actually owns the Torsen brand or company. So Toyota, we're going straight up here. I know the camera's going to flatten all this out, but I'm going up and to my left here, and it's very rocky and washed out. Toyota owns Torsen, essentially, and the Torsen C-type differential in this vehicle is what makes full-time four-wheel drive possible. Woo, this is some good stuff today. I'm still in drive. What am I doing in drive? The Torsen C-type center differential is what makes all this possible. And when I say all this, I mean the full-time four-wheel drive. Now that's A-TRAC. We'll get to that in a moment. But in a nutshell, you can't call the Toyota 4Runner Limited or the GX460 outdated when it's got a center differential that is light years ahead and pretty much exclusive to the competition. Or exclusive to Toyota and is light years ahead of the competition is what I'm trying to say. So that means you're not going to find any other cars with at least off-road cars, with a Torsen center differential that gives you full-time four-wheel drive. Instead, you're going to get so-called slip and grip systems which don't have true center differentials. What do they have? They have clutch pack center differentials in quotations. Boy, there's some rocky stuff. I'm not lifted, by the way, so that's why I'm being super duper cautious here. Okay. Ooh, that hit a skid. Man, we're on some good stuff, huh? This is insane. But what I want to say is, you can't call this car or the 4Runner Limited or the GX outdated when it has a center differential that cars today, the new cars, don't even have. They have slip and grip center differentials to give a 4 auto, but it's really just a slip and grip. Where the Torsen C-type differential is a true mechanical center differential. All 4 wheels are getting power all the time. 60-40 default split when you're on the road. If you lock the center diff, it's lockable. Then it does 50-50. I have the center diff locked here because I'm off-road. But You're not getting that on any other new car. G-Wagon has their own in-house version, but other than that, cars like Jeep and Jeep Wranglers or whatever. Woo! Beautiful day, though, huh? Cars like Jeep Wrangler, whatever, name Bronco, Ford Bronco, the new SUV, they don't have true center differentials. They just don't. So Toyota literally owns this full-time four-wheel drive game because they bought Torsen a few decades ago. Prior to that, they used to have this Torsen C-type differential in the Audi Quattros. Man, this is nuts. And when I say nuts, I mean as far as not trying to hit the dang side of the car on these big boulders. It's like I'm snaking around a bunch of rocks. It's pretty cool. All right, so that is point number one. And yes, I know I'm babbling. It's because look what I'm doing at the same time. I'm trying to be articulate while I am doing this crazy trail and not bang up the vehicle. So that's you just can't say this is outdated when it has a center differential that the new cars today from the competition do not have. They just don't. All right, let's move on. Next thing, KDSS. What is KDSS? If you don't know, that's a sway bar disconnect. Select models of Toyota 4Runner have this, and of course the GX has it as well. So you might think to yourself, well, doesn't Jeep or someone have a KDS or a sway bar disconnect system? And the answer's kind of, but this one is better. We're talking technology and outdated, right? Well, this has a hydraulic sway bar disconnect instead of a mechanical one. And what that essentially means, oh man, this is a trail. This is nuts. You're just snaking through all these rocks. It's crazy. Jeep has a mechanical sway bar disconnect. It's kind of clunky. There's been mixed reports on it. However, Toyota has the KDSS sway bar disconnect, which no other manufacturer has. Even a Mercedes G-Wagon won't have a disconnect like that. And what that does is when you're under 12 miles an hour, 18 miles an hour, whatever it is, just like I'm doing now, the sway bars are front and rear disconnected. Now, what that means is more off-road articulation. When it comes to off-roading. Man, I can't see again, come on. That means more articulation off-road. And when I say more articulation, I don't mean that, I literally mean that models without KDSS. So if you get a 4Runner that just, that does not have KDSS, it's gonna have less articulation. So it's going to have less articulation than a 4Runner equipped with KDSS. If none of that made any sense, KDSS technology, which is old and ancient dinosaur stuff, according to some people, in these current generation 4Runners and GXs, this old technology is literally the most, let's move this boulder, we don't need this. This old technology of KDSS is quite literally the best sway bar disconnect that you can get. So my point again is that these dinosaurs don't have old technology. They literally have, let's just kick it to one side, how about that? This old dinosaur technology is actually ahead of the time and is still considered better than anything presently out there. So if you were to buy a new, whatever, Jeep Wrangler, Ford Bronco, or even the new Toyota Sequoia with the V8, the twin turbocharged V6 engine, if you were to go ahead and buy that, you're not getting KDSS. So this old GX, along with your old, and the 4Runner, the KDSS comes on the off-road package. So if you get a Toyota 4Runner off-road, you get KDSS. So your old ancient 4Runner gets the super duper awesome KDSS sway bar disconnect system, which allows for maximum articulation. Incidentally, it allows for super crazy flat on-road handling because it allows for these vehicles to literally have the thickest sway bars front and rear for what they are. So again, we have a case of people calling this car a dinosaur without realizing that the technology in it is already ahead of its time and still is to this date. This car right now is giving me crazy articulation because of that KDSS system. What rivals that today? That's a rhetorical question. The answer is nothing. It's still, quote, advanced for what it is. Now, the next thing is the amazing A-TRAC system. Let's stand first here. I'm just trying to decide what gear I should have. A-TRAC system. So A-TRAC is a brake locking differential. It replaces a locker. A little bit of a controversial subject, I know, but it replaces a locker. It does what a locker is supposed to do, and it does it phenomenally. How do we know? Toyota ripped off their traditional mechanical lockers on their Land Cruiser back in 2010. So 23 years ago, they were like, goodbye mechanical lockers, we're going to put A-TRAC on it because we've tested it in conditions like these and it simply works. So the third technology is A-TRAC. You see some car systems that have similar things to A-TRAC these days, but as far as I can tell, A-TRAC is the gold standard when it comes to this sort of brake locking differential type of system. Come on, seatbelt. You ever try to lean forward and your seatbelt won't let you? So I can see. So, A-TRAC. A-TRAC is your super duper advanced locker alternative that simply absolutely works. Now, is that old technology? I guess objectively, if you talk about when it came out, yes, it's old. But when we talk about, okay, what's the new technology that has superseded A-TRAC? Does such a technology exist? No, it doesn't. So my point is that this A-TRAC was already ahead of its time. Ooh, look at this. I gotta be careful here. Man, this is something. This is definitely a challenging technical trail here. Don't high center there. Woo. So my point is, there's nothing to replace A-TRAC. There's no technology where you could say, oh, the 4Runner is old. It has that old A-TRAC system, and such new technology is better than A-TRAC. It doesn't exist. You got it. So again, the reason why these 4Runners and GXs keep selling despite being old technology is because, honestly, they're not. They simply work because they were already ahead of their time when they debuted way back when dinosaurs roamed the earth, right? All right, so those are three off-road, and KDSS is kind of an on-road feature too. It is, actually. It makes the car handle like a like a Miata when you're on road. Not really, but you get my point. So what about the elephant in the room, which is, well, the tech is old. And when I say tech, I'm talking about this thing, the screen. And this is where it's fair to say this is absolutely old and antiquated, and it does not work as well as new technology. So to be completely fair, any reviewer who refused the infotainment system in this Commodore 64 era nav system with its low-res 8-bit resolution, that's totally true. It is antiquated. But if you think of cars as things like iPhones and things like that it just should have the newest stuff in order to be relevant. In other words, You know, it needs to be the iPhone 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, iPhone 1000. And, you know, if you think of cars like that, and that's fine if you do, then, yeah, you'd probably be disappointed because this doesn't have those techie, visual, screeny type of bells and whistles. Now, with that said, as far as the luxury in this thing, I'm not sure what's missing other than the antiquated infotainment system. It's got power pull-in mirrors, you know, power this, power that. All right, whoa, man, this is going steep. Which way's the road go? Let's go down this way. So it's got all your luxury features is what I'm trying to say. So, you know, the basic stuff is there. It's got heated, ventilated seats, heating steering wheel, climate control in the zone, sunroof, third row, leather, all that stuff. So, as far as the luxury stuff, you can't call anything outdated other than the screen, which, by the way, again, is fair. It's completely accurate. But is that a deal breaker? Not for me, because this is what I like doing with this car, and this is what a lot of people like doing with 4Runners too. But I understand that for many people, it is a deal breaker to not have the latest and greatest infotainment on their system. Let me see if we can get through. Or this is where this thing is dead ending. Because on the map, it looks like I can get through. Let's take a look. So, if you're needing, you know, the latest screen and resolution type of things, which I'm not knocking, they're definitely helpful, and trust me, it certainly is a negative, this infotainment system. Is no denying that it's antiquated. But if you need the latest and greatest, then this car won't make any sense for you. But if you don't, and this is to wrap up my babbling. This isn't a trail anymore, I don't think. This is just straight rocks. What do you think? Ooh, coyote poop. Cool. If you're not into the latest and greatest, then the vehicle, in my opinion, is not outdated. Look at these views. Ooh, snowy mountain. Let's look at some more views. So, if you're not into the tech stuff, the car is going to do everything, not just adequately, but arguably. Oh, I didn't know they had a little. Look at that lake down there. A little man-made lake. That's cool. That's really cool. Sorry, getting lost in the views up here. This is what your dinosaur vehicle. This is where your dinosaur vehicle will take you. And I guess to wrap it all up is, as I'm checking here, the only reason I'm out here babbling is I'm trying to see if this is a trail, but this is clearly the end of the trail. So I'm going to turn around. But anyway, you just saw it. This is your ancient technology, and the reason why it gets you up here without effort, and remember the vehicle's not lifted, is because the off-road technology in the GX460 and the 4Runner, let's face it, they're off-road vehicles. The technology inside of these vehicles is not dinosaur when it comes to the technology that actually matters. The important stuff, the mechanics, the substance, you know, the functionality. It's all there. Not only is it all there, as I've said, we don't have the competition showing replacements for KDSS. They don't have any replacements for KDSS. They don't have replacements for A-TRAC. They don't have, they're not, you know, coming out with cars that have true center differentials without clutch packs, without slip and grip system. Oh, maybe it goes down this way. This is interesting. This is kind of like a trail, but you know, once I start seeing plants in the trail, I think that's it. Oh, but it does turn here. So it'll definitely get me down to the bottom. But, well, let's check it out. So, there's no replacement for that. By the way, if you're somehow still watching this video and listening to me babble, please hit the like and subscribe button if you have a moment, and that would help support the channel. Yeah, this is kind of a trail. You probably could get back here and do some things. Let me see where it goes. Oh, somebody stacked some rocks like they went down there. Oh, ooh. Oh yeah, you could get back here. This is getting into, ooh, oh, I thought that was a snake. It's a stick, sorry. This section here is, you'd want a spotter. This is just spotter stuff here because you're going downhill with big rocks and you need to keep your tires on those rocks. So this is doable with a spotter, but I don't have one, so I'm going to turn around. All right, so if there's anything that I want you to take away, if you're on the fence about a 4Runner or a Lexus GX460, and you're hearing all this, well, it's old, it's ancient, this, that, and the other. Objectively speaking, it's just not true. The technology that debuted on these vehicles, which are flagship vehicles, by the way, the 4Runner and the GX are based on the Land Cruiser Prado. So it's a flagship vehicle, Land Cruiser. So the technology way back years ago was still ahead of its time. And Toyota is a hog when it comes to patents. They find a good patent, they buy it up and take it. That's why no other vehicle has KDSS and no other vehicle has a torsion center differential. It's because they go ahead and they bought those patents and they got them until they expire and the competition can't handle them or have them. So they end up with the best. And that still remains true today. And that might explain to some people, well, it hasn't updated in so long. They've already got the most updated stuff. Yes, to be fair, the new engine is going to be way faster. The new twin turbo V6s or the turbocharged 4 cylinders that are going in this next generation of 4Runner, they're going to get way more power, better gas mileage, be just as reliable. That's all true. But do consider that if you're willing to live with the, I guess, dinosaur gas mileage of this car, that it's not that bad. So it's a decision ultimately you'll have to make. Not saying one or the other, I'm just showing the positives of this dinosaur and why I think there's a few reasons that you know, it's advanced. It's more advanced than people think. So anyway, I think I've babbled enough. Sorry if all of this was incoherent ramblings, but just wanted to say it. I don't think this car has old technology at all. The only thing I care about is the gas mileage on this car is horrible, and that infotainment is horrible. But the current year, the 2023, has the updated infotainment, so they fixed that. So, in my opinion, if you get the brand new, the newest year GX, you will get, and I'm sure the 4Runner has the new screen too, you'll get an updated infotainment. And then the only thing you have left to worry about is the gas mileage. You can't say it's missing anything else, in my opinion. But again, it is just my opinion. Feel free to disagree. If you found this video helpful, please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a great, great day.